Okay, you guys, it's time for the December lesson. Even though I feel like absolute crap, there's no way I could get on a horse and we're still traveling, I do want to get you a lesson. So what I'm going to do is take the arena record round, and if I can get to it, the barrel hitting round. Excuse me. Hey. Oh, okay. And I will critique every single run. And when I say critique, I want to make a humongous disclaimer. Big disclaimer. I am not a 2017 NFR contestant. I in no way am criticizing any rider or any horse with how they worked or saying that I could have done anything better. I simply want to show you guys as you're learning exactly where the horse got out of position, or the ground faulted the horse, or the rider had to make a decision that ultimately ended in a success or a failure. I am by no means here to be a keyboard cowgirl or a couch jockey, and I please ask that you do not be any part of that behavior either, because if another BRC member turns you in, I'm revoking your membership indefinitely. So without further ado, I'm going to try to get through this snotty, heavily medicated fog to teach you guys some barrel racing. So here it goes. All right, let's get right into it. First out, we all know I love this person, Kimmy Wall. She's repping the merch in them streets. I'm going to play all these runs in slow motion. Now, she has this style right here, which I love. A lot of you guys, or not a lot of you guys, but online people will say she's leaning, she's dropping this horse's shoulder, etc., etc. In this pin, if you miss the first barrel by an inch, that's when you're actually going to be really, really fast. Now, she had a lot of trouble with the second barrel, and one thing from experience, having a lot of failures in this pin that I would have done different, if you'll notice this left hand crosses over the neck, I've always found that it's a lot harder for me to be strong that way. You guys may be similar, and Kimmy may have had some trouble with this in the other rounds that she had a lot of trouble with, but in my mind, it's easier to ride two-handed straight and keep their head straight until your leg is at the barrel, instead of trying to keep their shoulder lifted up with this inside hand, because the inside hand tends to get weaker, and you almost narrowly get the barrel every single time if your timing isn't just right. So in her case, this was a great move because her horse ended up actually working that barrel, finally giving her a chance to win some money in this round. So I know she was probably a lot happier with just having some confidence gained back on that barrel. All right, let's see who's next. All right, here comes Tiani. This gate is such a trip, and I think that people don't realize how far it is from this gate to the actual alleyway. But this looks like just a short distance, and you'll see a lot of people taking off from right here. You'll see the people that have a whole lot of success end up taking off in this area, in this pin, just because it's a little bit easier to set up. So she caught a lot of flack online, just like everybody else, because she's keeping this outside rein into the first barrel. It takes a lot of talent to be able to try to ride a horse like that up into a barrel, because you see the timer line is right here, and she is struggling to get this horse to go right where he's supposed to. Now, this horse has the arena record in Calgary, won the 50,000. Like, this horse is everything. This just isn't really his lick. So coming in here, I thought this was incredible, and you're going to get the timing wrong from time to time. Now, grabbing the outside rein is how Baby Flo and I used to do it before we learned a little bit different way, and this would have worked had she not gone to the saddle horn right here, and she'll probably tell you that too. If she could have got him to here before she grabbed the saddle horn, she would not have hit that barrel, but she was trying to set herself up to win the round, because that was really important at that time also. So here, kind of the same thing. He comes in and she drops early back here, which a lot of us don't realize that we do. So she dropped way early back there. She didn't get herself a lot of momentum, but she tried to save it on the way in. See the third. That one-handed pickup is just really, really hard to actually get momentum around the barrel. Makes it even harder to accomplish what you're actually trying to accomplish. So, you know, just so you guys know, it's a little easier if you guys can always ride with two hands up until your leg is at the barrel. That's what I would have done different. Now, it's really easy to say that that's what you would do in her position, but we're not under the same pressure. So it's very easy to be an online critic and not actually be doing the thing. So here comes Stevie on truck. And she has a much different style. Now, on her other horse, she rides two-handed. As you can see, we're going back to this one-handed Hail Mary. And it's very hard for that to be effective. It will work sometimes, but not all the time. So it's kind of a last-ditch effort, which you don't understand how small this arena really is until you're in there and you're under this much pressure, how hard it is to get a run in. But here, she stayed two-handed and really tried to keep this horse straight. So what went wrong here is something just a little bit different. When she tipped him to the outside, he wanted to cheat even more, so he dropped harder. If she could have gotten momentum with like just getting him to stride forward one more time instead of just trying to hold him off, she probably would have bought herself just a little bit more space here and would have been able to save that barrel. Here, the same thing, the one-handed, what I call the one-handed Hail Mary, it's harder than it looks to not do this. You're going to want to do this because, again, you're under this magnifying glass of pressure and with a real chance to win the world, too. So in the best case scenario, if you were really, really concentrated, really focused, and not a ball of nerves, it's really easy to say we'd like to get to here. But as you can see, it's very, very hard to do that under these circumstances because these are the best cowgirls in the world. But in a best case scenario, that's what you would want to accomplish. This person that put this on YouTube filmed their dog apparently for us. So let's look at Nellie. Now here's something I want you to watch. This horse, every time leaving the first barrel, steps way out away from the first barrel. And what I talked about in my live yesterday was that while you may think that that's something that you would pick on in your horse, this horse gets across the pin. They've got a routine. She gets back to two hands. They've just got it down. So what's the problem? The other thing, like, look, to save this barrel, watch this inside foot. She's going to hook her right there as she sees that this barrel is going to go down. So she lifts up and then grabs that inside spur one more time, but she kicks her way off over this way. So understand that if you have a lot of pressure, you'll keep rocking and rolling. A lot of us want to give up early. So we see that one-handed Hail Mary again. In a perfect scenario, if you could get back over to here with two hands and drive straight, it would take a little bit of that risk out for you. So she made it by, but in a perfect scenario, I'm sure she would have wanted to be just a little bit safer right there. So I think this is around where Amberly and Paige win the round. So this is very similar to Tiani's approach. You see this horse, she grabs that outside hand also. If you guys can see that. She just got a routine of doing that. But this horse had a little bit more forward motion up into the barrel. So you see she's like skidding, drifting by it. Where Showmance had the brakes on already, so she really couldn't get any momentum up into the barrel. So that's the only difference here. And then when your horse runs up from a barrel like this, you always have to watch dragging it over on the backside. So you really want to be careful about watching the backside of that barrel. Now, I hate this camera angle, but we can see as she comes in, see how far back we actually grab the saddle horn and go to one hand and try to do that one-handed Hail Mary. It's so hard to ride over there two-handed, but it will always give you more safety up into your turn if you don't have to stop and do this and risk it every single time. So I'm just telling you guys over and over and over and over and over, try to ride further. Even the best in the world struggle with riding that one more stride. So don't worry about it. All right, who are we going to now? So here's Cassie. Again, you can notice just like Tiani, these girls are riding with a lot of outside rein. Try to get these horses in here. Now she decided right here, I'm going to go to the whip and try to get this horse to actually turn. This is a cowgirl move. Then she went back to two hands. Now, she would have been probably okay, but when she went back to two hands, she was kind of off center. So she grabbed early for her saddle horn. And when she did, she wasn't able to make the same kind of cowgirl move that we're used to her making at the second. So she was able to really do a big move out here to guarantee yourself some safety. When she did, it kind of throws this horse on the other side. So in a perfect world, again, and I've never ridden this horse, in a perfect world, you want to be right up in here and then just driving straight. She was just trying to save herself a little bit in the average and not get 2 barrels down. So I'm sure she was super disappointed. All right. Kathy Grimes. I really like this horse. I've never seen this horse run on the road. This is a really cool horse. So one thing you want to see, if you're looking straight down at that barrel, which almost everybody does at this level, you want to push forward. So you really want to get these horses pushed forward and underneath themselves, because you can see she's looking down at that barrel, but that hawk is never going to clear. So you almost want to pick out a spot out here where you can go ahead and let those horses come around. That's a timing thing that's really, really hard to time out right. And you can't ever say that she did anything right or wrong. It just happened to be not her day right there, because sometimes you can get that really right, sometimes you can get it really wrong, but looking down and pushing that around is the very best thing you can do. So let's watch Haley. She is nearly perfect this entire time, just staying really, really quiet. Now, when you get by a barrel, this is the lesson to learn here. Even though she's going to hit the 3rd barrel, the lesson is right here at the first. She's probably a little shook by this not being the 1st barrel that she's had every night. So it's something that she may be carrying with her across the pin. As she comes across the pin, you'll notice that she's two-handed a lot longer than most people, dropping right when her leg gets to the barrel. She's able to keep that. But you can tell from way back she was going to hit this barrel. She comes up into it, and then right here she was like, oh my gosh, something bad is about to happen. So in this instance, when you're looking at your barrel and your horse is dropping in, the best thing you can do is straighten your shoulders up and try to ask to go straight. It is so hard to train yourself to do. And almost every time, if you just kind of stare at it and watch it go down, you'll be so disappointed. But the more you do windows and walls, the more you'll be able to train yourself to go straight one more step. I feel like this cowgirl was not talked about enough. This is Tacy Bettis. Let's look at that 1st barrel again. So if you think back to Kathy Grimes' 1st barrel where a horse barely made it around, this horse had enough forward momentum to carry him all the way around. So this horse was able to get around that style of barrel, but not, not drag that barrel over. I feel like this girl should be celebrated a lot more. She rode really, really good. You can see she's driving with her legs all the way around on this style of horse, which is really cool. Now she's going to hit a barrel, and it's no fault of her own. This left hind, watch this left hind go skidding. Do you see that? And that horse just drug it over. So that's one of those heartbreakers that you really can't go back and redo. Now let's watch Perfection. So some cool things that Lisa does instead of grabbing the outside coming in, she aims with a lot more momentum straight toward her 3rd barrel. Does it every single time. And then she just has this timing down where even though that wasn't the perfect 1st barrel, she didn't let him get caught up in those really bad tracks where something may happen if he stumbles. So here was just obviously effortless, perfect, just like we know Lisa and Louie to be. And then right up in here, we still see that little Hail Mary as she comes in and tries to really compensate. So at this point, you just got to get in a routine where you can ask this horse to go forward just to make sure that you have enough momentum around that barrel. But beautiful as usual. Got a little ahead of myself. I thought Brittany did a beautiful job on, I think it's Can Man. It was absolutely gorgeous. This girl can jump ride nearly everything. As she crosses the pin, look at how flawless her hands are coming across. Now look, this is just nuts. I think he might have reached up and overreached himself as he came in. The dust is so bad, he's just skidding everywhere. You guys need to learn from this move right here. She got her crap back together and got back in the middle of her horse. He is losing hind end traction everywhere, and she's just sitting still and in the middle. And that is the big lesson there. You don't give up. You don't go nuts. You just try to sit really still in the middle and let that horse go ahead and work. So Sydney's horse, we all know, is going to go bonkers right here. It is just an absolute nightmare coming in. That gate is really, really hard. I thought Sydney rode so good, and I thought her horse worked good. I truly don't know all that went wrong this week with her, because she just kept riding better and better. The horse kept working better and better, and she just kept running into bad luck after bad luck after bad luck. And I really think that they looked amazing. So one thing you can see right there is the Hail Mary way back here. And I don't even think we realize how far back we are when we grab that saddle horn. But the main thing that really bothered her, if you'll watch this right hind, watch this come in. Do you see that start to slip, and then the inside has to catch, and then it all just goes downhill from there? She tries to pick it up, but it's no luck. Basically, the moral of the story is ride straight. Straighter, longer. I'm pretty sure this is the run that she wins the round. I'm not sure. We're going to watch this one a little bit faster. I want you to see how these girls gauge this every run. They don't have a go to here, then check, which you hear a lot of barrel instructors say, run up here and then check at this point, and then whatever else. These girls are going off of feel. They are looking at the barrel. They're gauging how fast they're going. They're using depth perception to say, here, nope, too soon, nope, yep, perfect, and then settle into that turn. They don't just go, oh, yep, no, at that point, no matter what, I'm going to bump my horse. You see how straight this horse ran in here? This was a cowgirl move. She rode straight right here, two-handed, to make sure this horse got one more stride, and she perfectly asked for just one more step, bought her about 3 more inches. Do you notice she looked down to say, hey, do I need to do something different right here, or am I Gucci? The answer was she was super Gucci. So as she's heading into this barrel, she's got plenty of momentum because her horse is aimed straight. Saw a lot of the other horses with their heads tipped to the outside. This horse is tipped in just perfect, and so she knows that she doesn't really need to pull any kind of Hail Mary move running out. Here comes Eagle and Kelly Collier. We watched Cassidy Dennison ride this horse. Obsessed with this horse. I know Cassidy really, really well. I thought Kelly Collier did a beautiful job riding him. He's just one that works like this every time. He's a horse that travels with his hind end way out behind him, and he always rings his tail. So if you guys have one like him, this isn't a horse that is hurting. He's a horse that that's just his running style. So if you guys have one like this that kind of slings its butt around, that's what this horse does. So you can see she stayed two-handed. This is this horse's style. He's always done that. He's a really big horse. He's like 16, 1 or 2 hands tall. He's always done that. So if you can kind of time that move, you can get it perfect. She misfired, I think, in round 10 on him in that same spot, but she's only had the horse for like 30 days. So let's go to Ivy, who did a beautiful job jockeying. She did something similar to Lisa, in that she shot out toward the third barrel a lot more. And you see they're just gauging it. She was a little late, and the ground at the NFR is just terrible. So you can't really adjust for how much skid you're going to have on any given night. You see it be perfect arena record-breaking ground, and then you see it be treacherous where you would want to turn out if you were there. So beautiful sitting in the middle, and she drove for one more stride right there. That's what you're seeing. And then she just asked this horse to come around. Now, the other thing she did, because there wasn't a lot of traction behind the third, I'm sure she'd already seen, is she did not pull on her horse to come back over top of itself really hard. That's when you can get in a jam. So, really, really great job right there. I hope you guys loved this hit barrel run review. If you like more stuff like this, make sure to let me know, comment. But I hope you guys love this. Have an amazing night, and I will do the arena record-breaking night next for a December lesson.